In the restless streets of Johannesburg, where minibus horns sang louder than birds and the night lights flickered like tired eyes, there lived a street boy named Sizwe. People knew him by many names: Skotheni, Sharp Blade, Street King. But long before the streets claimed him, his mother had called him my son. Sizwe ran away from home at 17. Not because there was no food, not because there was no love, but because he hated rules. At home, his father believed in discipline. His mother believed in prayer. They told him when to wake up, where to go, who to avoid. To Sizwe, that felt like chains. He wanted freedom his own way, his own time, his own truth. So one night, after a shouting match that shook the thin walls of their RDP house, Sizwe packed a small bag and walked into the dark streets of Johannesburg, believing the city would crown him king. The street crowned the streets welcomed him quickly. Under the Nelson Mandela Bridge and along the crowded pavements of Hillbrow and Jeppestown, Sizwe found others like him, boys with sharp eyes and harder hearts. They slept in abandoned buildings, shared cheap drugs, and survived by stealing phones, wallets, handbags, anything that could buy them another night. They became a gang. To them, stealing was not evil, it was survival. To them, pain was normal. To them, tomorrow did not exist. Soon, Sizwe earned respect. He was fast, fearless, and carried a small knife tucked into his belt. The streets began to whisper his name. He felt powerful. And then, Naledi entered his life. Naledi sold snacks by the roadside near a taxi rank. She laughed easily and believed foolishly. She saw goodness in Sizwe that even he had forgotten. He promised her the world money, a better life, a house far from the streets. But promises made on empty pockets are easy. Months later, Naledi told him the truth. "I'm pregnant." Reality struck harder than any fist. Suddenly, the streets no longer felt like freedom. Hunger became heavier. Fear grew louder. And responsibility sat on his chest like a stone. The night of blood, desperate men make dangerous decisions. Sizwe told his gang, "Tonight we go big." That evening, as the sun dipped behind the tall buildings, a tired woman walked alone from work. Her handbag hung loosely from her shoulder. She was thinking of supper, not danger. Sizwe followed her. When he grabbed the bag, she screamed. Fear took over. Panic screamed louder than reason. In the struggle, the knife flashed and sank into her chest. Time froze. Blood spilled onto the pavement. Sirens howled in the distance. The woman collapsed, gasping for breath, but she did not die. Sizwe ran, but not far. That night, the streets that once protected him betrayed him. He was arrested, handcuffed, and thrown into a cold cell. The city lights mocked him from behind iron bars. Judgment Day in court, the charges were heavy. Attempted murder, theft, assault. Naledi never came. His gang vanished. Only his parents sat in the back, older, quieter, broken. The judge's voice echoed like thunder. 6 years imprisonment. As the gavel fell, Sizwe felt something inside him break, not anger, not fear, but regret. For the first time, he had nowhere to run. Prison nights. Prison stripped Sizwe naked, not of clothes, but of pride. The nights were long. The walls listened. His past replayed itself like a cruel movie. He saw his mother's tears, his father's disappointment, Naledi's silence, the woman's blood. One night, on his knees in the darkness of his cell, Sizwe whispered a prayer he had not spoken since childhood. "God, if you are real, forgive me." When his parents visited weeks later, he could not lift his head. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice shaking. "Please forgive me," his mother cried. His father held his shoulder and nodded once. "Bring me a Bible," Sizwe begged. "Please." A new fire. The Bible changed him. Not overnight, but slowly. He read about Saul who became Paul, about chains breaking, about forgiveness deeper than crime. He began praying not for freedom, but for change. Other inmates noticed. "Why are you different?" They asked, so Sizwa spoke. He spoke of regret. He spoke of choices. He spoke of roads that lead nowhere and roads that hurt but heal. Men listened. Some mocked him. Some cried. Some followed. Cells became prayer rooms. Fights turned into conversations. The warders noticed peace where chaos once lived. One day, the prison authorities called him forward. For outstanding rehabilitation and positive influence, they said, handing him a certificate. Sis wept openly. Freedom earned after 3 years, good behavior opened the prison gates. Johannesburg greeted him again, but this time he walked slowly. He went home. His parents welcomed him without questions. Naledi had moved on, raising her child with strength. Sizwa respected her distance and supported from afar. He enrolled in Bible school. He preached in streets not with knives, but with words. He spoke to boys who reminded him of himself. "I was once you," he told them, "and the street nearly buried me." The moral of the elders, and so the elders say, sometimes the hardest road is the only road that leads to freedom. Sometimes prison is not the end, but the beginning. And sometimes losing everything is how a man finally finds himself. In Johannesburg's restless streets, Sizwe's story still travels, a warning, a lesson, and a hope. Because even in the dust, a seed can rise.